So, I didn't really have too much of a plan for this video, but also it's probably not going to be edited at all. But pretty much these are my thoughts on Victor and how I've been having pretty decent success with him. Haven't really played too much of him. Like, I'm not going to say I'm like a Victor expert or anything, and I'm also not like stupid high rank or anything, but there's a few things I've noticed that let me carry my lobbies. But first thing that should be talked about is your 4.8k spike, which is 38 AP. Why is your 4.8k spike important? Is because your health regen scales with Spirit. So if you get these three items, you'll have 9.1.
From Santa's workshop.
I guess I don't have any fucking boons, but yeah, you get the point. Because obviously like boons will increase it, but you should be around 9 by the time you get these three. In terms of that, but you can already see we're getting 11. So one thing that I do want to talk about is we do have these extra things. I kind of want to talk about Victor's gun and the thought process behind it. So if you watch Victor's spray, it's all over the fucking place, right? Yes, it's in a tight circle, but it really doesn't tighten up until you're like melee range on somebody, right? And the further you are from somebody, the wider the spread. Granted, it goes in a circle, but you can look at all the distances, right? So what should you be doing on Victor because his gun's not accurate? Well, obviously, sliding is like super important. He has a very high DPS gun, especially early game. I think he also arguably has one of the best guns in the game. It's just like, at its core, with accuracy and stuff, it's not very good. So what you want to do is you actually want to use it close. And also, if you can hit headshots, it's insane. So if we look at the roster, what are some good characters that I, as a Victor player, want to lane into? I mean, there's a few things that I'm looking for is like really wide body and either easily hittable head, like Seven, even though Seven doesn't have a wide body, or just wide body. The reasoning why is the bigger their body, you should be able to dump a mag. So let's say we were only to get a short trade off on somebody and you were able to land like 10 shots. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 120 and just body shots alone. You dump an entire mag, it's considerable. It's quite a bit more. So another thing is I kind of wanted to talk about the pain battery and what you can use this for. So I like to do it like this. This is how I like to rush mine, and then I do pain battery after that, right? And then you obviously kind of want to get the purge or like the cleanse, the debuff remover, right? The debuff remover on this thing is quite considerable, especially in this stuff like Infernus, Haze, whatever. There's a lot of things that are gonna fuck with you, right? Yeah. So basically, once we have ulti, pretty much if you watch my VODs or you watch how I play, I'm really only fighting around this. I also have a really good example. I'm gonna pull up the VOD. I'm not gonna edit this video. This video is just gonna be long, so get fucked, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, pretty much I only rotate and I only fight around my ulti because my ulti allows me to play like a psychopath. Um, but interesting thing you should know is this does 15% current HP. So this one is based off of like your damage that you take. So if we have 2 charges and we have ult up and we're going for a dive, what you can actually do before you dive is actually intentionally hurt yourself, because obviously this is going to take 15% of your HP and the total regen is 200. It's probably going to do more than that at 126. You only got like a 200 positive off of that, or like a 80 positive roughly. So it's not very worth it. But you already can see my pain battery is like a third of the way done. One more, and then all I have to do is take barely any damage from the enemies, and I have pain battery. So if you're in lane, it actually sometimes makes sense to tank damage, just to provide burst, right? So if you see a person is low, like let's say this Infernus is low, then I'm gonna go look for a trade on this Abrams. And especially, let's say this is like a Wraith or something that has a cooldown that can get away from me, right? So if we look at the roster, we got Tornado, we got Mina 2, we got, where's it? Wraith Teleport. Like, there's so many things that can just say, no, I'm good. Um, if you go for a trade with them, right? So what you want to do is you actually want to surprise them, and you also want to plan this around the heal creeps, right? If you are crashing a wave into their tower and they are low, you have two options. You either don't be a psychopath. This is mostly before you get to your power spikes and before you get to your ulti and stuff like that. But if they're really low and you are crashing a wave into their tower, they're wanting to go for that heal creep. So that's something you have to keep in the back of your minds. And if they get that heal creep, so watch your heal creep's HP, if they get that heal creep, what you're about to do is like pointless, right? But what you can do is you charge up your pain battery with jumpstart. Pain battery does a deceptive amount of damage early, especially if you hit two people. It's kind of insane actually. Um, so yeah, if you hit pain battery on a person that's low, you pretty much obliterate them. And what I want to say is, well, you're not a pushover with this setup here, like the early options here, like this core, you're definitely not strong. Sometimes I do go improve spirit in lane just to like get 8 extra spirit, or what no, 12 extra spirit. That brings up the HP regen quite a bit, right? We're at 8.6. With boons, obviously, it's going to be closer to 10, right? But what you're really after is you're really after Torment Pulse, right? You're only ever taking improved spirit again if your lane is starting to go to shit, right? Like, obviously, you can go to these, but if you aren't really doing much, or your laner's not helping you with fights, or you're not hitting your pain batteries how you're supposed to, and you're having to play a little bit more passive, then going improved spirit just for the extra regen to play a little bit safer is fine. Also, it kind of delays your torment pulse, but obviously you get a little bit more of a spike because of the 2. Sorry, because of the 2.4. And I think that early can be worth it, especially because you're amping up your pain barrier. But
Ain't nothing like
Torment
Christmas
Pulse.
time in New York.
Why is Torment Pulse good? Because most of the time you're going to be melee range on people, so the pulse damage is really nice. If you look at it, it's already 40 on a 1.4 seconds, right? So you have a pretty good DPS, especially if you max stack aura before you get into a fight or something. Like, you just have a lot of options. Um, Something I don't do very often, but it is viable, is actually Trophy Collector, because it gives extra ability range. And then if you pair that with greater expansion, it's kind of just crazy, right? You get like what, 5 into that equals 41, 51. You get 51 ability range. It's pretty nuts when you fully stack it, right? But obviously it has to be a fiesta of a game, and you obviously have to be ahead, just to make it even worth it. But when would I build that? I would probably build these two first, and then I would go for a trophy collector, because you can kind of hold out on the enduring speed. Don't get me wrong, enduring speed is pretty good, but if your base movement with just your stamina and how you already move around as a player is good, then you really only need these two to start monkey fighting 24/7. Um, yeah. Uh, but yeah, if we look at the damage, it's 213 right now. With boons, this is going to be closer to like 250, and especially early game, this is going to do like a quarter of somebody's HP bar. And on squishier characters like Mina, it's like more closer to a third. So just a few of these and shooting your gun and you're fine. So what you really want to do is you want to prep a target to have the surprise burst damage, because as soon as you get Torment Pulse, um, you just kind of one-shot people, especially if you were doing trades before. So your goal is to dump mags into people. You just dump a mag into somebody, and watch. The pain battery damage just did that much damage. That is quite considerable. It's quite a lot of damage. So your pain battery is more like you can use it once early, but you really want to use it to finish somebody off. That's like your main goal with pain battery. And with boons, it's pretty good. You can self-damage yourself with like vending machines and stuff, and then pop out with your ulti. But pretty much fighting on Victor, especially early game, to be safe and not throw, is coming. It all plans and revolves around your ulti. I'll show a VOD where I did a double dive. I think it was, yeah, it was this game. I did a double dive right whenever I knew I was about to get ulti. If I can find it, we go here. Oh yeah, it's getting water this game. Ooh, that is way too fast. Why is that so fast? Holy shit. So let's go back and see what I did to facilitate this, right? Taking damage from tower intentionally is kind of important too.
My mistake.
I think my plan here was to get extra charge on this wave, but I think I just saw a really good opportunity. So you got at least like 8 bullets off on him there. It's pretty good. So he misses hook. So I know they can't really do anything. I have pain battery already charged. I know I'm okay to just run at this. And I also know her thought process is to go back to the base. I don't have extra reach, so... Okay. So, that is another thing right there that I just did. So I know if I got the Lady Geist, I got ulti there. And if I had walked in deeper and probably hit the Geist with it, I was playing like I had Mystic Expansion, right? Which Mystic Expansion will, the Pain Battery would have killed her. But the main thing that you can take away from that clip was I was dumping mags into them before, so I was prioritizing damaging them, right, before. And the thing that made me go, okay, I can actually commit to this was Bebop mistook. Now, another thing that I did there that you didn't really see is I went for a heavy melee right when I knew she would kill me. The heavy melee is going to go through even when you die, and that's kind of a important thing. And I was fighting close to my ulti, right? I think the breakpoint is where I'm at. I think it was like slightly... Can't remember what the breakpoint is. I think it's like 3.8, right? No, it's 3.6. Huh. I was wrong. But yeah. Basically, that's the main point, is if you're playing around that ulti spike, and also they buffed massively money that you get from solo kills. I kind of figured that if I would kill that Geist, I would get enough for it. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know precisely how much it was, so I was just kind of taking a gamble, I'm not gonna lie. But overall, the game plan was still the same, which was prepping them, and then diving off of the prep. Could have been wall bouncing, but I mean, don't really care that much. I want the AP buff here. And also your map movement's just kind of sluggish until you get Enduring. That's just how Victor is. It all comes down to how you use your stamina, right? But
Would you like that gift wrapped?
yeah, that's the basic idea of Victor. And kind of just prepping your pain batteries, and don't use them very often unless you've already prepped to kill with your gun, right? So your pain battery is your source of like main amount of damage, and it allows you to dive on ulti cooldown. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all they got. Um, I don't really, there's not really anything else I can really say. Um, some little things that you should note for sure is the slows that you apply. So your pain battery can be your opening thing that you do, especially if you have it prepped, you're full HP, you have ults, and you're just trying to chase kills down. Once you hit them with the slow there, then you have, if you hit them with tier 1 aura, but that's after you get both of these maxed, they'll get slowed. So especially later on, the slow really matters a lot. Um, kind of go into my thought process towards why I buy certain things. So spirit resilience obviously like lessens the amount of damage that you're gonna do to yourself, but the thing is it's only here in like extreme cases where like the entire enemy team is building AP. Cult of Sacrifice is like not very good. Just kind of have it here. I don't really think it's good. It just has like 60% uptime. It's not very efficient. I think honestly you're better off just going greater expansion, especially with the spirit resist, and it helps you not deal damage to yourself. Um, but yeah, so another thing where this build has a lot of spirit resist built into it, and your bullet resist is also your engage tool to stick to people, right? So interesting thing that I did know for myself. I didn't really want to say this too much, but yeah, basically, if you go into a fight and you know somebody has curse or focus lens and you know that they're going to use it on you because silence is the way that you counter Victor, how do you counter those counters? And that's Refresher, right? Because what they're going to do is a curse will most likely get your ult out, will most likely kill you, or silence will most likely kill you. And then what you have to do after that is you have to use Refresher. So you can choose to fight around your Refresher, and I mean, you can go Transcendent, um, Transcendent cooldown and Boundless Spirit, but these two items I don't generally build. I think it's actually more valuable to rush Infuser. And something that you should also note is your Aura of Suffering has a ramp. It doesn't just immediately deal its max amount of damage. So it's important, especially if you know a team fight's happening and you're going to it, and you're using like your speed boost, that you start your Aura of Suffering on the zip line while you're boosting in to then deal maximum amount of damage. And then if you combine that with Mystic Vulnerability, which is extremely good, super synergizes with Victor quite a bit. You have this Raider expansion, Infuser plus Mystics plus Escalating. I think you're going to come out with like, can't remember how much spirit resist it is, but I think it's like 50 or no, it's like 30 or 40 or something like that. Because it's not flat values. They're I can't remember what it is, but you basically get less the more resistance you have of the specific type. So basically, this should be all the spirit resist that you need. Because if we just build this and this, if we look at our spirit resist, we're at 33%. So obviously you're losing like a little bit, but it's it's not that noticeable. You basically got the equivalent of spirit resilience by while also building the items that you wanted, right? Why is Mystic Vulnerability good? So I know the generalized thought process behind guns, and I kind of apply that towards AP characters, right? So, what is the thought process behind guns? Well, there's three layers to guns, and that is damage, attack speed, and then fuck, what was the other one? Shred. Okay. Yeah, damage, attack speed, and shred. Okay. So what do you need up front to make your gun actually viable? Is you need damage. And then what does attack speed do to it? It just multiplies your damage and adds on to it. And then shred gives all of that a percentage. So if you think about it in order of importance, it kind of depends on the character. But what you have to know is you need kind of a good combination of all three of these to make a gun character work. Now, an AP character, we have a few things that are very similar, but not exactly the same, right? So we do have Shred. So Shred would be like, hey, I have enough damage. Um, I can use Shred now. Now, what is your attack speed? per se, in a roundabout way. Your attack speed would be your superior cooldown, your superior duration, and where is it? Rapid recharge, right? So that would be kind of like your attack speed. So these items are saying, hey, we get to deal damage more often, right? Or we're making our damage last longer. And then now, what do you need past that is you need Shred. Because then Shred's going to multiply all of that. So if you look at this, this is why I have it all the way down in category 6, because you're not going to often build these every single game. Now, if you need to dodge important things, but you're given kind of like a heads up on it, E-Shift is good for stuff like Wraithful, for Lashel. There's just a lot of things in the meta that E-Shift is extremely good for. I think the only character right now that hard counters Victor is Haze. And the reasoning why I say Haze is a hard counter to Victor is because she can answer you faster than you can answer her, especially when you're building in a way to answer majority of people. And I just think that Haze is just good at taking you down without plated, without bullet resilience, and especially if she has Fury Trance, right? It's really just hard to get through that without your Shred because she's just getting 40% Spirit Resist off the rip. And without other teammates around, like you're just getting cooked, right? And especially because you're generally the first person to go in. Um, what I will say though is Infuser, when you pair this
Good
with
thinking. New Year's can get a little crazy around here.
Healing Booster, it goes down to get out of the way of this. It goes up to 96% Spirit Lifesteal. So when you think about it, you're kind of doing 100% Spirit Lifesteal. It's pretty crazy. It's really crazy, right? Especially if we ramped our Aura of Suffering and then we get into a team fight, because the thing that I notice a lot of bad victors do is they start their Aura of Suffering when they're getting into a team fight, right? You want to start the Aura of Suffering um, like not when you're in the team fight, but before you get in the team fight, right? Like when you're traveling to there, you want to start the Aura of Suffering that way. And yes, you will generally be slow, but I've had plenty of times when I've jumped in to 4 people, started up my infuser, and even though they were shooting me, my Aura of Suffering was like either close to max stack or like 50% of the way there just from starting it on the travel, and they just couldn't do damage to me because Infuser was healing me all the way back to full whenever they would do that. So yeah, um, what I'm gonna cover, so Refresher is your counter to Curse if you have ults. If you have ults, then you get Cursed, then you die, you use Refresher after you die, and then yeah, you're good. Um, Ethereal Shift to counter specific ultis or specific things. You should pretty much figure out what that is. Also, leave your Aura of Suffering on inside of Ethereal Shift. It's just really, really good. Um, Berserker. My only thought process to Berserker is Berserker's really good on Victor, but only for speeding up a clear. You don't generally want this item very much. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. Victor can stack it extremely fast, and it's pretty much a free glass cannon on Victor, which is stupid strong, especially in terms of clear speed because AP clear was nerfed, right? But majority of the time in games, I'm not building a singular gun item. Occasionally, I might build Spirit Shredder plus Mystic Vulnerability if I have extra slots and I don't need to buy counter items. If I don't need to buy counter items, both of these are really good because they amp it up, right? But if you combine Spirit Rend plus Escalating, you got quite a bit. I think it's so you have 14, 14, 8, so yeah, so 28 plus that, so 6, yeah, 36. So you have 36% increased damage with Spirit Rend if you can land all your headshots. And in late game, especially because most of your damage is not coming from your gun, like just aim at the head and walk at them, right? You might hit a head, you might not. But if you full stack this on somebody, plus you got your Mystic, which is giving you another 8%, so it's like 44% increased. plus the Spirit Amp per stack on this is just absolutely insane with Aura of Suffering, right? And then your Torment Pulse is counting towards like another stack on its own, so it just goes to ramping really fast, combining that with Infuser, combining that with Aura that was already fully started, and if they go to try to get away, you have Warp Stun to keep chasing, right? So this is kind of like my thought process towards Victor and what allows me to just run into 5 people on my own and not give a flying fuck. Because I have already so much ramp that by the time, if I can get to the point where I get to Spirit Rend and I get escalating, um, then at that point I'm pretty sure the game's just fucking won. There's not really much the enemy team can do against it. Um, a Haze is, as I said, like the only counter. She buys like Unstoppable and stuff. There's not much you can do. So, but yeah, that's all I got. See ya.